weather when it is currently the 1st of December 2014. Being December, we should be talking about heavy snowfall, and that really has been the case off towards the north into Japan. But for the tropics, we have a new storm system. This is Tropical Storm Hagupit, tracking away from the Marshall Islands. Very potentially is going to be impacting Yap and Palau, and potentially could impact the Philippines. In today's update, we're going to be breaking down the tracks shown here and what a lot of these agencies are going to be looking at. And basically the rest of the week, westernpacificweather.com will be switching into full-on typhoon coverage mode. This is typically what we do when we see a very serious threat. And this one, it could either be a very serious threat, as shown here with the JMA track. You can see it on the left, really just tracking off here towards the west. They are following along with the ECMWF model and their JMA model. But on the right, JTWC kind of shows a slight recurvature. That's what the GFS is showing up. It's basically the American model versus the European model. We all are hoping that the American model is going to pull out. Let's go ahead and show what I am talking about here. Before I get into this anymore, I do want to go ahead and state that I am not an official agency. I'm just sharing my thoughts and what the agencies are going to be looking at here over the next several days. And there are a few things that are going on. Now let's do a little bit of weather 101. You have the easterlies down here towards the south. This is 10 degrees north right here. Even in the tropics, in the Western Pacific specifically, even though it's south of 10 degrees north, we still see the risk of formation despite being weak Coriolis. We saw that with Bova and Haiyan. But the thing is, this far south, it kind of gets out of the grasp of the westerlies off here towards north, which has very cold air. You can see these lines pouring in out of Siberia. These are frigid temperatures. We're seeing snow into Japan. And then you have the leading edge of this cold front. When it gets into the tropics, it's called a shear front. It causes a high amount of vertical wind shear. It also acts like a hook and pulls our storm system off towards the north if that was to occur. Although, if our storm system stays down here farther towards the south, this does not dig in enough, it is not strong enough, it could stay on a westerly track. That's why I actually put this out on Facebook earlier today. At two possible scenarios, one pulling the storm off towards the north with that ridging in of the high pressure, and the other one, it doesn't impact as much. Now, I know earlier today, this was Monday morning, I said that scenario one was more likely. Today, into the evening hours, starting to think less likely. I'll explain why. It's not only because we have more model outlooks, we have the agencies which have it going on a more westward track, despite JDWC basically saying 5-day track is still up in the air, guys, and we're still not sure of this, but also just the area of formation. You have the high pressure ridge off here, and this is forming so far south. Now, this is given my personal opinion on past tendencies as well. When you get a storm system this far south, staying south of 10 degrees north, it tends to miss the grasp of our waves off towards the north. That's what the ECMWF is picking up on. Let's go ahead and show you the Meteor Earth app here. This is the ECMWF model, as I mentioned. We can go ahead and scroll through this here. On Monday through Tuesday, our low continues to develop. It stays farther down here towards the south, along the southern extent of that subtropical ridge farther towards the north. You can see it rotating here. Now I'm going to pull back the picture because take a look at this. We have a high pressure ridge starting to pull in from the north, and then we have our trough setting up, and that starts to pull in the winds. Look at that precipitation coming in out of Japan. That's this right here. That is the big factor. Let's pause it right there and scroll back. You start to see this come down towards the south. That acts like a plow. And then we have our storm system right here. This is by Thursday and the Friday. Now, as I mentioned, the ECMWF model, it keeps it south of that subtropical ridge coming in out of China, and that pulls it basically west and has it linger right off the coast of Visayas and eventually moving into basically Samar and Leyte. Worst case scenario even is that this model, this specific model, has it linger here for about 2-3 days. Now, granted, guys, this is a 5-day forecast. It is subject to change. Remember, that is one specific model. The GFS does have that trough come in from the north. You can see it here diving in with that 540 line, dipping down, bringing sub-zero temperatures across much of Korea and Japan by Thursday into Friday. And then that hooking mechanism. You see all that precipitation shearing off towards the northeast here. That is what the GFS picking up on, and it pulls it back towards the north. Best case scenario, that's what would be happening with this. Although, if that ridge does stay in place, it would just go a little bit farther towards the west. This is why we look at the possible scenarios, guys, and we're continuing to monitor this. This is a nav gem I just switched to, the Navy model. It also agrees with the GFS. So we have two of those models. The ECMWF stays off towards the west, farther towards the south. We have a couple other outlooks actually taking this really close to Palau, south of Yap, and then was taken on the westerly track. These are a lot of the things that JTWC is actually looking at right now. And really all in agreement up to about the next 72, maybe 96 hours. But beyond that, guys, I mean, once we get past midweek, Thursday and the Friday, I'm not even very sure of where exactly this is going to be going. The big thing I can say from me and everybody here at WesternPacificWeather.com, the fact that this could impact the Philippines, and if it does, and it does so with the veracity that this particular model is indicating could occur right here, it really could be a damage maker. So I'm not saying that it's going to happen at this point, and I'm not really feel comfortable enough to say that, but you really should be ready for that. You should be prepared and making preparations at this point. I know we don't all want another Grinch storm. I mean, this is by the 8th into the 9th of December, following on the heels of Washi 2 years ago. Then we had, 3 years ago. Then we had Bofa 2 years ago. Then we had Haiyan last year. The last thing this area of the country needs is another November, December typhoon. And we all know what can happen if one does occur and this scenario does fall through. So really, even if you're not sure, make those preparations and be ready for that possibility of one of these storms to show up. All right, guys, that is all for right now. Thanks again for watching here at WesternPacificWeather.com. Don't forget, please go to the website, check out all of our features we have there. We have the interactive tropical map. Also, please visit our Facebook page. Posting updates there all the time, trying to keep at least the latest information. Not just me, but everybody else here at the website. We're all putting some stuff together, and it really is a big team effort. So really do hopefully you appreciate all of that and come and support us, and hopefully this does turn towards the north, guys, and doesn't turn out to be that bad. All right, bye.